Hi folks, Darren here from Gold Gems, Treasure and Fish. Today's episode, how to find your first bit of gold, guaranteed. Okay, it wasn't that long ago that I was a beginner, just like probably you watching the video here today, dreaming of finding that first bit of gold. Now, I had an Equinox 800 and I wandered around in a gold bearing area, so I was in the right area. I wandered around in the right type of gold bearing area for 3 months and found basically absolutely nothing. I decided that that was the detector's fault, so I should get the best detector I could to find my first bit of gold. So I went out and bought the SDC 2300. Now I wandered around for another week and found nothing again. So started thinking that maybe it wasn't the detector's fault. So anyway, I met a person in the town I was staying with who was a very experienced gold detector and had taught people how to detect gold before. And he gave me a couple of little tips and and a lesson for about an hour. Now, I'm going to share some of those tips with you here today and some others that I've learnt since. And I'm going to get you your first bit of gold guaranteed. Now, over the next 60 days of my detecting career, I went out, well, I don't know what it was, 30 odd times, I suppose, 30 odd times, and I collected, I think it was just over 50 pieces of gold. Every day I went out, I found gold. I think there was, after this period, I think there was 2 days I've been out since where I haven't found gold compared to like another 20, 25 days where I have. So this is, you'll find gold nearly every time if you're in a gold bearing area. Now, in saying this, I didn't detect the same area over and over. I did quite a bit of detecting in one area, but I also went to other areas in other gold fields and found gold this exact same way. Low and slow is the only way. You've got to remember that no matter what detector, there's been 1,000 people over in most of these areas, thousands of people over with the detector. Right? Just going on like you see on the TV most of the time, they go over it. You're trying to find gold that those people haven't. Now, realistically, the best place to find your own bit of gold is where most people have already been, to tell you the truth. They're the areas that are well worked. You will find gold there if you go low and slow. So just take your time, do it low and slow is the go. And you'll find it. Now, sometimes that can be a bit boring. So what I do is I'll do 4 hours of low and slow, and then I'll go bushwalking with the detector for an hour or so. Now, sometimes in your bushwalk, after I've gained this experience, sometimes I might find a nugget. And that may give me another area to work where I can go on low and slow. But don't prospect to begin with. Go where gold's been found in the past. Now, step number one. Step number one is to put yourself in a gold-bearing area. Now, there's plenty of books, there's plenty of maps, there's all kinds of references you can look up on the internet. It's not hard to find. But the gold-bearing area has got to have some alluvial gold, it's got to have shallow gold, and it can be a hard rock area, but it helps if it's an alluvial area. If it's a hard rock area, well, then you're more limited to mullock heaps than in the other areas. Surfaced areas are great for finding your first bit of gold, particularly beside surfaced areas and in piles that were quite often a surface area has an area that's been surfaced right down to the bottom, so an area that's taken down to the bedrock, and beside it there'll be piles of stuff. Now that's not on the edge of the surfaced area, that's actually within the surface area itself. You'll see a little lump in the middle. Great area to look. Anyway, let's get back to the real stuff. Now here's the real tips. The first tip is set your air. Once you're in a gold bearing area, it's no good not being in a gold bearing area where there's alluvial gold, preferably shallow gold. Okay, and it also depends on, of course, what type of detector you've got. But this video here today is to do with all types of detectors. I'll go into some individual nuances later. Okay, very first thing is don't go. It's not a bushwalk. Don't go walking around for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. If you're in a gold bearing area, you're near some old gold mines, some alluvial mines and that, and it's obvious they were working there. And obviously the bigger the workings, the more work they put in there, more likely there was gold there. You're in the right area. Don't go moving around. Okay. Set yourself out a small area to detect. Now, this is the biggest mistake that I made when I started, and the difference between after I started doing this was immense. I was in the gold bearing area. I was walking around willy-nilly finding nothing. Slow down. Set yourself an area no more than half a tennis court. And that half a tennis court area that you've set out to detect in, you've decided it looks like it could be held some gold. Work it thoroughly. Take 4 hours to do it. Take 5 hours to do it. You shouldn't be detecting that size any quicker than that. Slow and low. If you've got to move stuff on the ground, move the stuff on the ground. Break that tennis court area, half a tennis court area, into smaller sections. Move the stuff off it, put the stuff back. After you finish detecting that little area, do a 2 by 2 meter square. And keep doing that until you've detected that size of half a tennis court. As I said, that should take you 4 to 5 hours to do that properly. If you go at that pace detecting, you will almost definitely, and you're in a gold bearing area, you will almost definitely find gold. Coil must be low and slow. Doesn't matter what detector it is. The theory is the same. Low and slow. Half a tennis court, 4 to 5 hours in the right area, you will find gold. Now, these very same areas that I'd walked around and walked over, as I said, I got this lesson from this bloke. First day I went out, I found my first bit of gold. It was 0.0, I found it with the SDC, it was 0.03 of a gram gold. Tiny little speck. Would have never found it without going that slow and low. Well, I hope these tips help you out. And until next time, goodbye from Gold, Gems, Treasure and Fish. But while you're at it, why don't you like, share, subscribe? It all helps the channel. And just after this video finishes, in the end section, I'm going to put a link to our fantastic prize draw. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. I'm not finished putting the prize pack together yet, but there's a little video there that shows you what it is. Anyone who subscribes will have a chance to go in the draw for that prize pack. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and please go there and have a look at the prize pack. Thank you.